I read the foreword to the book, and I noted it was written by Dr. Rajan Narayan, who is a yogi and runs a foundation in yoga in Maryland, US. I note his comments in the foreword where he says that he's a poor reader. He imbibes by experience. At the same time, he adds that language and expressions should not be or are not barriers to self-realization. So I just wondered whether through this book, what you're saying, whether you can connect to the audience through this very scholarly and spiritual text.
As I said, this work is intended for a certain genre of seekers, seekers who have plodded along in the spheres of dharma and moksha and who have acquired a certain maturity and who are thinking for themselves and who have a whole bag of unanswered questions. They go from they do window shopping, they go from one master to another master, read one book, then move on to another book and try to find solutions, then do their own thinking, and yet they're not able to solve the riddles of life. So those people will never be satisfied with easy standard answers. And the book is intended for them because it sets them on a path of clear thinking. And I maintain that unless and until you come on a path of clear thinking, this realization will never happen to you, because it's not a thing which will happen by faith or by belief.
Thank you. I also note that in trying to communicate or to make your message clear on this book, you have used powerful metaphors as images, like your Tat Tvam Asi birds.
Right.
And the Shiva Shakti image.
Right.
And maybe that is your way of trying to get this idea behind what is self-knowing and self-realization to the audience, to the reading audience. Am I right in my understanding?
Yes, you are absolutely right. I'm trying to basically communicate to everybody my own realization. And I don't know how to do it. So I just jumped into the pool without knowing how to swim. So now I'm seeing what should I talk to them and what language must I use, from which point should I approach the whole thing. And then I set myself this program, and then it starts flowing. The Shiva Shakti metaphor, for example, I first encountered it in the work of the German Indologist Heinrich Zimmer when I was 22 years old, 23 years old. And then it just was put on the back burner in my consciousness. Now it suddenly came to the forefront, and it had a new meaning in the light of my experience. So I used that. Likewise, the Tat Tvam Asi birds, and they mean a lot to me. So I'm trying to convey in terms of ideas and principles and sutras and metaphors, so as to create an intellectual conviction in you, so that you will walk on a path which is natural for you, and you'll walk all the way. There's nothing here for you to take by following anybody. That's not going to work. You can't follow anybody, you got to do your own thinking. And the book sets you on a path of your own thinking. That's what it does.
Thank you.
I have a question. You are dealing with various kind of seekers. Some bhaktas are there. Those who are interested in the path of jnana is there.
Right.
Different seekers are having different kind of intentions. Seeking intensity itself is different. How do you assess a devotee? How do you assess a seeker, for that matter? Like, for example, I may be in the path of Bhakti Yoga for the past 20 years or 15 years or so. How will you assess me? You don't know me, for example.
Thank you for asking this question. Actually, I don't need to assess anybody. Why do I need to assess anybody? Because if you're disenchanted and discontent with one teaching and with one scriptural text, then you will move on to another scriptural text, and you will move on to another master, and you will search for other explanations, and like that you will go to several masters and several texts, And but there's no use of going to all these texts and all these masters if it doesn't enable you to turn inwards. When you turn inwards, you start thinking for yourself. Now, you come to me, if you come to me after going on this pilgrimage to many masters, and then you have started to think for yourself, then this book will make sense for you. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.